This simple console hack will upgrade your debugging skill to all new level. Why exactly we need a console.log when we have well-proven libraries like logging libraries like Winston and all. But let's assume we have a very small projects or like a pet projects where you want to just debug to some extent and you might have ended up having a lot of console.logs, right? Let's say we have a scenario where we needed to add a timestamp for each and every log. Manually adding a timestamp to each and every console.log statement would be a cumbersome task. Let's dive into this simple console.log hack. Let's assume this as a mini project. Okay, now if you can see here, I just defined $1,000,000 function over here and I just added some console log, started, ended, and assume there is some time crunching operation happening in this specific block. And if you can see at the random wait promise, it's just a simple promise based random wait where it just resolves the promise in a span of 0 to 3 seconds randomly. So this is a simple function, right? Like overall it's like assume this as a mini small project. So now let's try to run this file, and if you can see here the job 1 2 3 4 5 and it's randomly resolving and it took some time, right? So now if you simply see here, it just adds like a started job 1 2 3 4 5 and completed, right? Now assume if you wanted to add a like a timestamp for each and every log, so it will be a cumbersome process, right? You explicitly need to add over here like new date to ISO string and just sort of some concatenation or something like this. I'll just try to run this as well, and as you can see I just added a console.log, but if you can see this happened only for the started log, and if at all if we needed to add like the timestamp, it should be like we should explicitly write this specific statement appending for each and every string literally for all the occurrences. At least in this example it's a small function and I just given this only for the demonstration purpose, but you got the idea, right? So now let's try to hack console.log in a way that you don't need to literally change anything in the whole function, or at least in the scope it's a small function, but assume there is a big project, then you literally don't need to change anything in the console.log statements wherever you are using it. So that simple function would be, let's try to just keep the console.log in another variable, like let's say original log equals to console.log. So now I just assign the console.log as it's a function into some other variable. Add console.log equal to function as an empty function, right? In JavaScript, we can access all the arguments that pass to this function, so that we can actually access with arguments variable name itself. Now just try to think of how we can leverage the arguments what we get passed to the actual console.log. Adding to that, we just need to have a new date statement appended. We'll spread the arguments and make it into a new array. Now we have the all the arguments that actually get passed to the console.log, right? Now we'll just add a new statement over here stating, let's use the string literal, new date of to ISO string. Now if you can see, we have created a new array in a way that first element in the array is our new date to ISO string, and we are just spreading all the arguments that gets passed to the actual console.log function, right? Now if you can think of, we have a function prototype method called apply. So let's try to leverage that and try to pass this as arguments to the actual console.log with the context of this. Let's use that apply method. As we have already saved the actual console.log function into a variable, let's use that original log dot apply. Here we should pass this argument. In our case it can be console.log as well, so let's use console.log as the second argument for the apply function is an array. We can simply pass this over here. Any guesses? Yes, that's pretty much. Now let's try to run this and let's see how this goes. There you go. So the timestamp basically added automatically for all the console.log statements. Let's try to just have this in a proper format, like let's add 2 double quotes and run it again. As you can see, now we are getting a proper thing. Let's try to add some more customization. Let's add a square brackets, basically wrap around the timestamp. As you can see, I guess you got the full picture of it. It's literally two simple statements and you really don't need to change anything on the entire project. In this code snippet, it's in a simple JS file, but for any of the mini projects, you'll be having an entry point, right? So you can just simply add these statements at the start of the entry point and it basically does the job. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting content and we'll catch you in the next one. Till then, take care.